Hi Lydia. Hi Lyla, it's Daddy. If ever you want to be close to Daddy, just cuddle this bear. Remember, I love you so much.
Tom and I met at work, so it was I think in 2009, and we started working together and we became friends straight away, but we didn't actually start dating as a couple until probably a couple of years later. So Tom was a really passionate person. He absolutely loved work and was really passionate about that, but more passionate about football. He was the biggest Manchester City fan. He went to all the home and away games, and that's what he spent a lot of his spare time doing. We loved going on holiday together, and he just adored spending time with Lydia. We went on our honeymoon, and he had a bit of a niggle in his hip at the time, and we just assumed he'd kind of slept funny on the plane or something like that. So we came back from honeymoon and were given this diagnosis during a regular checkup that he had 6 months to live. Obviously that was just absolutely devastating, like the world just kind of fell out beneath us, I suppose. I was quite heavily pregnant, and obviously we had a young daughter as well. I think it's fair to say in the first kind of few weeks, every time the hospice was mentioned, I was massively in denial that we'd even need to contact them, because we didn't look unwell at the wedding just 3 weeks before. Everyone said how good he looked, how well and fit he looked, so it was just too much of a shock to even think about, really. But then in February 2019, he had a seizure one evening. He broke his hip because the cancer had just destroyed his hip bone. So during that seizure, he broke his hip, went to hospital, and it was discovered that the cancer had gone into his brain as well. And it was that very night in the hospital that they said, we now need to move his care forward to Spring Hill Hospice. And that was, I suppose, the first time that we really accepted that we would need their care.
The importance of hospice care, especially in sort of Haywood, Milton, Rochdale area, is that we offer a huge amount of services to people who have got any life-limiting condition. That might be services provided within the hospice itself, the inpatient unit. It could be in the community through Hospice at Home or our community team. It's such a wide range of services that we offer that it's massively invaluable to people when they're going through possibly the most difficult time of their life.
Initially, what I would say is it was, we were trying to understand how we would care for Tom at home. We really wanted to be at home as long as possible. And despite having a really great support network, his mum and dad in particular, we were worried about I was worried about how long we would actually genuinely be able to keep him at home. It was at that point that we discovered the Hospice at Home team, and they were just absolutely fantastic, from the nurses and the doctors coming out to provide him with obviously pain medication, just assessing him daily. It enabled us to kind of give him his final wish, which was to be cared for at home, and he did pass away peacefully, surrounded by myself, his mum and his dad, in his childhood home, surrounded by lovely memories, and that's only down to the hospice. Obviously, it was Tom's wish to be at home and out of a hospital environment for as long as possible, but equally I'd just given birth to my second daughter, Lyla, and Lydia was just 3 at the time. So, I didn't want to have to take them to hospital or take them to the hospice. The fact that we could, be at home together, making memories in between the visits, was just absolutely kind of a life-saving for us, really, and just made the final few weeks a lot more manageable. I said this a few times to a few people, that although it was probably the most difficult time in our lives and will ever remain to be, it actually was probably one of the most special times. And sorry. Yeah, it just was a really special time because we could spend time together with our babies and just enjoy our environment. People could come to visit him at home. And like I said, it was his dream to grow his family here. So it just felt like a privilege to be able to give him that. And that is obviously thanks to the hospice. and the care that the nurses and the doctors were able to provide us on a day-to-day basis.
I think people underestimate how much of an impact they can make by donating a very small amount reliably and regularly. It means that we can sort of plan for our services. It means that we can offer that level of specialist palliative care input that people need at the most difficult times of their lives. Just being able to give even a small amount of money regularly would make a huge impact to what we can offer. To put it into perspective, at the moment we're in £1 million deficit as an organisation, and it's really scary. It means that we're seriously considering whether we can still carry on offering the level of services that we are.
It's unimaginable to kind of think where we would be if the hospice wasn't there. Presumably Tom would be in a hospital somewhere. I'd literally had a newborn baby and a toddler. Trying to go and visit him and, you know, provide him some care and support whilst also looking after my children just would have been impossible. I don't actually know where we would have been, and I certainly don't think it would have made the final few weeks of Tom's life bearable for anybody. You know, we get comfort from the fact that he got to have the death that he wanted, surrounded by the people that he wanted in our own home, and you know that provides us with a lot of comfort, and we just wouldn't have had that otherwise. Yeah, it's kind of just, it's a bit scary to think about what it would be like if we didn't have the hospice.
Right, smile.
Shall we have a picture?
Please.
Just show me a Lyla gets on it. Are we getting in on it? Yeah.